Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, it's your boy Jerm, and today you are tuned into Kinetic Aesthetic, and today we are going to talk about The Iron Claw. If you haven't heard of this movie, it came out last year, back in September. September it was released in Dallas, and November 23rd, I believe, it was released worldwide. It's a movie about the wrestling family of Von Erichs. If you are familiar with them at all, you already know it's a rough watch. It's a sad movie. It's not necessarily going to be the happiest one, but it's a good one. I just got finished watching this the other day. It took me a long time to watch it. As someone who had known the story, it really wasn't necessarily like something I was excited to, make myself sad for a couple hours by watching it. But I was surprised. I actually didn't get as emotional. It was definitely sad, like I said, but I didn't get as emotional at as many points as I did. And you know what? With that being said, I can still say that it was a great movie. This was great. Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White did a great performance. The guy who played Fritz, their dad, he did a wonderful job. That man was very unlikable. Fritz is in hell, I'll say that much. But this was a good movie, and you know what? I felt like this was something that definitely deserved a lot of attention, and I was happy to see that it got a lot of love. And now that it's out on HBO Max, I thought that this would be a good time to review it because, in case anybody I know a lot of people, they see wrestling, they see, all right, it's just fake, it's yada yada, it's this, it's that, it's not a real sport. And again, I'm not going to try to disagree with you on that. I'm not going to say that, but I will say that this is the type of movie that gives you a lot of respect for the dedication, the sacrifice, and just what guys who decide to put their all into this industry go through, because it's not easy. If you haven't watched anything about wrestling, if all you've heard is that it's fake and that all they're doing is just doing a whole bunch of fake shit, you are in for a rude awakening once you watch this and you see just, it's not all smoke and mirrors. It's not all doing a whole bunch of shit, fake punches and fake kicks. There's a lot of real punishment, a lot of real sacrifice that goes into it. And yeah, Iron Claw definitely does not hold back. But with all that said, I'm going to not spend too much more time on this intro. I'm going to give you all some time to get some popcorn, get some shit, get yourself ready, and let's go ahead and get into it. And we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening to the show from day one, I think you already know about Body Butter. One of the dopest products made by one of the dopest people I know, and I know a lot of dope-ass people, and I just came here to tell y'all, you need to buy it if you haven't already. Yes, when I first started promoting it, Body Butter just had a couple of scents, a couple of sort of more female-oriented scents. I'm here to tell you right now, shit's not the same anymore. She's got a whole bunch more men's scents. She's got a whole bunch of different collections that she's either working on or she's got out right now. I'm telling you right now, get in tune, stop sleeping. Make sure you go and check out her over at Instagram at Body Butter. That is butter with two A's at the end of it. Just go check this shit out. This shit keeps my skin silky smooth. I don't have to do too much. It will last you a good long fucking minute. It's everything that you need in a better Vaseline and a better lotion type of product. Stop sleeping. Go get you some Body Butter right now. Go make sure you follow her again over at Body Butter on Instagram. That's Body, BODY, BUTTAA. Make sure you go check her out. And once you DM her about your order, just make sure you say, Jerm sent you. Now, one thing to keep in mind when we talk about the Iron Claw, when we talk about this movie and a lot of the production that goes into it, you sort of have to be familiar with not only the Von Erichs family story. You should know a little bit about that in order to keep yourself sort of a good open mind when you go inside it. You also have to understand the wrestling business itself. Now, yes, it is true that a lot of the stuff that you see in wrestling, in professional wrestling, is predetermined, choreographed. You have to always just remember when you're watching this movie, and when you actually, if you ever decide to just intake any of it yourself, what they're doing, while not a true sport in the true sense of the word, you cannot fake. You cannot really just, like, you can't do a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors when it comes to taking a backdrop on that hard mat. You can't fake doing some of the crazy wild shit you see some of them doing when you would see them on TV. You can't fake jumping off a ladder onto a table. You can't fake taking a steel chair to the back. Like, this is not stuff that these guys are faking doing. This is a lot of unforgiving, painful, God forbid when they're going outside of the ring and they're just like suplexing each other on the concrete. Again, you see that in this movie. This is not something that they are just able to, pretend. There's no pretend on some of the shit. And I say that to say, this movie does such a good job of just like showing you just how dark the wrestling business really can be, especially back then. Like, nowadays, we're in a spot where I can honestly say most people who are going to be getting into wrestling, there is going to be a lot of safety involved. There's going to be a lot of like things there to help make sure that these guys don't just fall into bad habits, don't go into destruction. There's drug testing. There's a lot more. It's just not how it was back in the day. You know, it was the wild, wild west. You know, you can look up stories of some of these guys. There's a good TV show called Dark Side of the Ring. If anybody's ever wants to know how crazy, how fucked up, and how just ludicrous some of the people, some of the things, some of just the aspects of the wrestling business is, that will give you a good idea. And this movie just shows you some of those pitfalls, because this was a family, you know. There are 5 people in this family. You got the Papa Fritz, you got the mom, you got they told her name a whole bunch of times, but the movie didn't really focus on her. They didn't really at least say her name a lot. You had Kevin, you had Chris. Chris isn't even in the movie. That's another thing. There was an extra brother that this movie doesn't even show. He died as well, but literally the director said, you know what, I didn't include that because the movie just couldn't handle another tragedy. Just to give you an idea of how fucked up things got for this family. But what the movie does a good job of is just showing you it was unchecked back then. There was a lot of just crazy, wild shit. The mindset of it, you know, the dad, as much shit as he will get from people who watch this movie, and he does deserve a lot of it, even in real life. The movie did a tame portrayal of him. From what I've read, from what I've seen, from the stories I've heard, he was a vicious motherfucker. A vicious motherfucker, and not a very, very nice man at all. So the movie does a good job of just showing you, like, when you look at the dad, when you hear some of the stuff that he says, when you see the way he acts, just understand that's how most men in wrestling were back in the day, because they thought that's how that shit was supposed to be. It's getting better now, but it's only just now getting better after decades and decades of just people destroying each other, of self-destruction, of just horrible shit being done to people. God forbid I can go a whole fucking hour long on just some of the horror stories that you would hear from backstage from these guys. But you just see in the movie, you see how this is portrayed as just these guys. They get further and further into this business. They're chasing after the success. And Kevin, the main character, was portrayed by Zac Efron. Zac Efron does a wonderful job. Can't rave about his performance enough in this, where he really just sits down and tells her, you know, explains to her why being the world champion, which is pretty much what the movie is showing, his journey of just him chasing after this shit while his family falls apart. It tells you why it's so important to him, because his dad brought him up in this business, and that's all he knows, and he sees it as that's the reward for all your hard work. Being the world champion, having to travel all over the world, having to do all this extra shit, and you see it. You see it, just how much hard work, how much wear and tear the body has to go through it, how much just all long nights on the road. It's unforgiving and it's brutal. And the movie does another good job of just showing you just how the dad, he thought that this shit was good for them. He thought that this was the way that they were going to achieve success. He drilled it into their head. You see it in the opening scene when they're both little boys, and you just hear it again throughout the movie. The way that they are going to be protected from whatever bad influences are out in the world, the way that they're going to be shielded, is by making themselves strong. Not mentally strong. He doesn't put a lot of weight into emotional strength. He's just making people strong. He wants you to be physically tough, mentally tough. You know, that whole macho, I gotta be the biggest guy in the room. Nobody can be tough to me. And their dad was a motherfucker who he had a talent in art. He was good at music. The mom even talks about it in the scene. When they first met, he was performing melodies for her, just doing good songs. He was good at piano. And this is a guy that, and again, this just speaks to the just fucking manosphere bullshit that was just universal back then, of thinking that you have to be this big tough guy. There's no future in just being good and artistic. You have to be this big muscle bound motherfucker who can just withstand a whole bunch of physical punishment. And that's one thing that I love about this movie. Just off my first watch of it, they really drill into you this theme that this man destroyed his family chasing after this shit, chasing after this glory, this machoism bullshit. He destroyed his family. 3 of his 4 sons are all dead. Actually, 5 of 6 in real life. And this guy ended up dying alone because the wife ended up getting a divorce, all because he couldn't let go of his mindset, because he couldn't let go of that way of living. And, it's I can say I didn't cry as much as I thought I would. I've heard so much from people that I was going to cry, that this was going to be such a sad movie. And I want to attest to the fact that I knew what to expect going in and I knew their story. But I really didn't get emotional or sad in regards to anything that happened in the movie until the ending with the last brother. I'm not going to say too much about how it goes. This is a movie that I do think you should, even though I'm telling you a lot about what happened to him, watch the movie. It does a really good job. It's not beating you over the head with its themes, or like overly transparent, but you can watch that movie and you can see what it's trying to tell you. You can see the mistakes that Fritz made and what the movie's trying to tell you. Don't be like him. And it was at the ending when you just see how the family, when you just see what's left of the brothers, you see what's left of them, you see after all that they had been through, the only way they're able to achieve peace and happiness, and not all of them, just the ones that are fucking dead, is just by the way they all had to end their lives. It's a really gripping watch. Again, if you are not someone that knows a lot about the wrestling business, it'll probably hit you a lot harder than it hit me. But it's good. It's a really, really, really powerful film. I really think that it did. But as someone who's a fan of pro wrestling, I really don't feel like, even though I forgot that this was a movie about that for a while, and it really did just hit me as a movie about family, about brothers, about how important it is to cherish them. As a parent, this movie is important because it just shows you how important it is to not push your fucking kids into any one way. You really have to give them room to grow and to do their own thing. And above all else, it just shows you the importance of loving the people that you have while they're there. It's a sad movie. It's powerful at the end when you see Zac Efron. He has that moment with the 2 sons where he just tells them that they're all he really has left, and they comfort him. And that one was another one where it was just like, holy shit, the movie really does know how to get you. But again, if I have to give this a scale of 1 out of 10, a score, I'm gonna give this one a good 8. This was a great movie. If you have not watched it yet, I recommend that you go do. The Iron Claw. It put its claw on me, man. It was a good fucking movie. I enjoyed it. Zac Efron, again, this was a star-making performance. If you are not a fan of his by now, I don't know what to tell you. He's not just the High School Musical guy. This and that Ted Bundy movie. He's had some good movies. So you know what? All the more power to him. All the more respect and credit. He stole the show from me. Jeremy Allen White. I've seen him in TV. I've seen some of his stuff. I've always liked him. This movie, again, made me a really big fan of his. He's also in that movie. He's also not in the movie. In the TV show, it's on Hulu. It's called The Chef. I think it has him as the head of some restaurant. Great film. Iron Claw, if you haven't seen it, this gets a kinetic aesthetic score of 8 out of 10. This has been your boy Jerm. Once again, I just want to say a big shout out to everybody that takes the time to go and listen to this. If you haven't already, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me on whatever platform that you're listening in on or watching. And again, y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. This has been your boy Jerm, Kinetic Aesthetic.